The rock type is often one of the first gym types, and for the most part, it's because it's not really a strong type. Many weaknesses to very common types. People often overlook the rock type, even though one of the greatest Pokemon of all time, Tyranitar, is one. We even got a Mega Evolution, which was pretty good for what it was. In Emerald Elite Redux, it was improved even more by gaining 3 additional abilities, but it was also given a brand new Redux form, which also got a Mega form. This isn't the last new rock type Mega Evolution, as there are now 7 total when there used to only be 3. In this video, I will go over what I think are the best and which are the worst of these rock type Megas. Starting with the worst rock type Mega Evolution, I have Mega Shuckle. Mega Shuckle is exactly what you would expect, leaning into its already insane defenses while finally giving it some way to deal damage. Now raising both of its defenses to 255, which is more than a Turnamax Eternatus by the way, and gaining 60 in attack, 50 more than its base form. It has some great abilities to try to make it an unstoppable tank. Its main ability, Self-Efficient, essentially gives it a leftovers and lets it stay around a bit longer, so Toxic can do more damage to targets, as well as Infestation Chip. Infestation, as well as its other moves, will hit 3 times thanks to its ability Multi-Headed, which gives it a bit more power. Base Shuckle actually adds to the strength of its Mega because of its ability Let's Roll, giving it a defense curl on entry. This will make it even bulkier and increase damage from rollout. It has Unaware, so it can even come in against heavily boosted Pokemon and wall them out. Why is it the 7th best though? Well, despite its insane stats, it's honestly not that tanky. Its HP is not very high, so it still doesn't take much. It has very little recovery options as well. I found it was dying way more than it was being useful. Earlier in the game and in certain situations it's very good, but I would not waste a Mega slot on it. Now we talked about it at the start, but Mega Tyranitar is at number 6. It's a pseudo legendary that Mega evolves, so its stats are obviously wild. 164 in attack and 150 defense, it's quite bulky and can hit back very hard. Even 120 special defense is really good for it. Already a great Mega in the base games, but with extra abilities it's much better. One of the biggest ones, especially for its awful type combination of Dark Rock, is Primal Armor, reducing damage of all super effective moves by 50%, and man does Tyranitar have a lot of them. Now they are all erased except for its massive fighting weakness, but this allows it to stick around a lot longer. Enemies will keep having to hit it, activating rough skin damage or even getting Stealth Rock set up because of its ability Loose Rocks. Its base form can set up Sandstorm, boosting its special defense. It's not just going to sit there though. Strong Jaw gives its Stab, Crunch, and Jagged Fangs that much more power, and all other biting moves it gets for coverage. It can set up a Dragon Dance or Rock Polish to potentially sweep teams. By no means is it a bad Mega Evolution, but it's far from perfect. It's pretty slow and has no recovery, so eventually it will just go down. There's a lot of power in this ROM hack, so it can really struggle to stay in front of late game threats. At number 5, we have Mega Relicanth, who is very similar to Mega Tyranitar and could honestly have been swapped between each other. Mega Relicanth doesn't have quite the same stats, but I like the stat spread a bit more. 160 in attack and 130 in defense, but the 95 in speed is what separates it. Well, that and how well it's able to use its abilities. It too gets Primal Armor to erase weaknesses, but it must stay far away from even a Blade of Grass. It doesn't have to deal with entry hazard damage, or any extra damage for that matter, because of Impenetrable. This also includes damage from even its very powerful recoil moves, including Stab, Head Smash, and Wave Crash. There are not a lot of Pokemon that can take these even neutrally. It's not even the full story because it also gets the Reckless ability, so these moves are being boosted by 20% more. Just one Rock Polish and it will be outspeeding a majority of Pokemon, and they will quickly be taken out. It has a signature ability that makes it really valuable on a mono-type run, that being Marine Apex, giving it a 50% damage boost against water types that threaten the team. It can be hard to take it out in one shot, so it's easy to make it really dangerous. Its main flaw though is its coverage can be lacking, and Pokemon that resist water will always have a chance to escape since Head Smash has an 85% chance to hit. It's still a great Mega though. At number 4, we have a bit of a familiar face with Redux Tyranitar and its new Mega form. Redux Tyranitar turns up the brightness settings and swaps out its dark typing for fire, which is a much better combination. both offensively and defensively. Its stats are different as well. 150 in HP and 126 in special defense make it really bulky, and its 150 special attack is definitely on the high end. Just like the last two Mega Evolutions, it gets primal armor, but the more important ability that takes away a major weakness for it is Evaporate. Evaporate will completely remove its 4 times weakness to water and will actually set up Mist if one is used, preventing stat drops. Ground is really the only thing it needs to watch out for. Other rock Pokemon actually want to stay far away because they no longer have super effective moves, and its fire type moves are actually super effective against them due to Molten Down. Heat Wave, Scorched Earth, and Eruption will melt plenty of opposing Pokemon. Not to mention the base form sets up Drought for it when hitting the field, making its fire moves that much greater, and lets it use Solar Beam effortlessly. Just like with its water weakness, it makes the rock weakness a benefit for it as well because of its ability Furnace, doubling its speed when hit with a rock type move. This includes Stealth Rocks, so under the right conditions, this monster will be able to blow up full teams right when it comes out. To me, it's a much better Mega Evolution than the original, but I wouldn't call it the best rock type Mega. Now the number 3 Pokemon really surprised me. That Pokemon is Mega Diancie, a Mega Evolution I often forget even exists. Its stats are really interesting in that it just fully switches from its base form, dropping its 150 in each of its defenses to 110, and raising its attacks to 160. And with only 15 HP, it's not the bulkiest rock around, and a bullet punch is a death sentence, but that doesn't stop its power. It does have a decent amount of resistances and 2 immunities because of her ability Levitate. She's also immune to stat drops as well, so it can be really hard to slow her down. 110 speed is actually good in a fair amount of situations when maxed out, and Mega Diancie can absolutely hit like a truck using Light of Ruin, which it doesn't take any recoil from because of its ability Magic Guard. Diamond Storm is her signature move, and it's one of the best special rock type moves around, and has a 50% chance to double her defense. Take out a Pokemon at the start and get the boost, and you're now a very tough Pokemon to take out that has the means to retaliate. You might even make the mistake of trying to hit it with a status move, but because of Magic Bounce, it will just come right back. The reason I was so surprised by this Mega was its lack of crazy abilities, but just the combination of Magic Guard and Light of Ruin was enough to threaten many teams instantly. I should have expected more from a Mega Evolving mythical Pokemon. And the second best rock type Mega Evolution is Mega Hitmonlee. Mega Hitmonlee brings a large jump in power from the other rock type Megas. The rock fighting type stats might not portray that on the surface, but it's far from the truth. 140 in attack is the second lowest on the list so far, only higher than Shuckle, but it does have 122 speed, which is the highest so far. 110 special defense is not bad either. It has some wild abilities that really lean into its attacking power, raising it to even greater heights. Let's start with its very rare main ability, Roundhouse. Not only does this give all of its kick moves 100% accuracy, which includes high jump kick and triple axle, Roundhouse will attack the lower of a foe's defense. This is extremely dangerous. A Pokemon might be really bulky against physical attacks and invest EVs into it heavily, just for Mega Hitmonlee to exploit its uninvested special defense. The damage Hitmonlee puts out is always going to be on the high end, and all of its moves are really strong, especially with some of these multipliers. Striker boosting kicking moves by 30%, so high jump kick is absurd, and Mega Kick is also a powerful stab move. But isn't Mega Kick normal? Well no, since it has Mineralize, all normal moves turn to rock and get a 10% boost. It getting access to Fake Out is also busted. Even Rapid Spin is a dangerous move, giving it a chance to take out a foe and boosting its speed at the same time. And if all these boosts weren't enough, the final Innate puts it over the top. Giving it Hustle is insane, raising its attack by 40% at the cost of all of its moves' accuracy being dropped by 10%, but remember, its kicking moves can't miss, so they just get another boost for free. Mega Hitmonlee is the top tier Mega all around. It can be vulnerable if its speed is compromised, but it's definitely an excellent use for a Mega slot. And the number 1 spot for the best Mega Evolution goes to Mega Aerodactyl. It's a pretty straightforward Mega and does exactly what you'd expect. 135 in attack, officially making it the second lowest on the list, but its unbelievable speed of 150 takes the number 1 spot by a landslide. It takes some of the skills from the other megas and is able to use them more effectively. Thanks to its Rock Head ability, Aerodactyl can run some of the most powerful moves without drawback. Head Smash is not supposed to be used like this so freely, and it still has the ability Tough Claws. So all of its contact moves are being boosted by 30%, including the buffed Dragon Rush, Stab Brave Bird, and even Extreme Speed. On top of that, one of the abilities it can choose from actually uses some of its incredible speed and turns that into attacking power. Speed Force will take 20% of its speed stat to calculate damage. You could run Fatal Precision with it instead, almost guaranteeing KOs in situations since the super effective move is boosted further and will not miss. It has the innate Fossilized, making all of its normal moves rock while giving them a 20% increase and has rock damage against it. Giga Impact is quite the endgame nuke. Mega Aerodactyl is the best simply because it just comes into battle ready to sweep and is very consistent in doing that. Very few Pokemon will outspeed it even if it's not fully invested in speed, and it has more than enough power with its moves and its abilities to take a majority out. If it has an opportunity to set up Hone Claws or Dragon Dance, the game just ends on the spot. To me, it was the most consistent of all the Rock Megas and pretty much always had an impact when used. If I could only have one of these Megas, Mega Aerodactyl would definitely be my choice. So those were the top 7 Rock-type Mega Evolutions here in Emerald Elite Redux. For the most part, they are a rock solid group of Megas that can really find a lot of use on the right team. Do you agree with my rankings, and which one of these is your favorite? And which Megas should I cover next? Don't forget to subscribe and like for more videos. Shout out to the members, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.